You know, when you think of the Maldives, your mind probably jumps straight to those luxury resorts, right? The overwater bungalows, the perfect pristine beaches. But for this explainer, we're actually going to look at something hidden just beneath the surface. We're diving into how the Maldives is actively fighting to protect its absolute most vital economic resource against some literally existential climate threats. It's this wild story of deep tradition meeting massive environmental challenges, all wrapped up in some truly cutting-edge adaptation. Let's get into it.
So here's the roadmap for our explainer today. We've got 1. The Maldives tuna economy. 2. Looming environmental threats. 3. Protecting marine ecosystems. 4. Science and climate adaptation. And 5. Building a blue economy. Section 1. The Maldives tuna economy. Let's jump right in and set the baseline here, because to understand the Maldives, you really have to grasp its incredibly deep bond with the ocean.
Just take a look at this contrast. Tuna makes up an absolute whopping 90% of the Maldives' total exports. 90%! It's the nation's second largest economic contributor overall. So we're not just talking about a small slice of the pie here. This is literally the lifeblood of their export market. Honestly, there is a lot more on the line here than just your average tuna sandwich.
And when we drill down a bit further, the numbers get even more intense. Almost the entire national catch relies on just two very specific species, skipjack and yellowfin tuna. Together, they make up 98% of the catch. So the health of these two specific fish populations, it's absolutely critical. I mean, this is what pays the bills and provides the primary livelihood for thousands of people across the inhabited islands.
Now, what's genuinely amazing is how they actually achieve this immense yield. The Maldives relies on traditional pole and line fishing. It's been practiced for generations and is widely considered a world-leading sustainability model. But there's a massive catch. This method completely depends on live bait, little fish like sprats and anchovies that live right in the local coral reefs. It's a chain, right? No healthy reefs means no bait. And no bait? Well, no tuna. Section 2. Looming environmental threats. And this leads us to what is really alarming about this whole system, just how deeply vulnerable it is to our rapidly changing climate.
The vulnerability basically creates this devastating domino effect. Step 1, climate change warms up the ocean waters. Step 2, that warmer water triggers coral bleaching, which completely wipes out those essential live bait species we just talked about. And Step 3, without any food or a suitable habitat, the tuna populations are forced to simply pack up and migrate away. It's a direct chain reaction that threatens to take down the entire industry.
And if we just do nothing, the data is frankly pretty grim. Current climate models forecast that by the end of the century, tuna will shift en masse toward cooler waters. That means severe population declines for both skipjack and yellowfin right where the Maldives needs them, plus a general drop in the Indian Ocean's overall primary productivity.
So, faced with the potential collapse of their main livelihood and their export economy, we have to ask the big question. How does a nation actively adapt to an ocean that is literally shifting out from under them? You can't exactly pause climate change overnight, so what's the game plan? Section 3. Protecting marine ecosystems. Well, the answer starts with sweeping, immediate protections for the local marine ecosystems. You absolutely have to secure the foundation of the fishery first, and that means locking down the reefs. To pull this off, the Maldives has aggressively expanded its marine protected areas. They've established 91 specific sites that cover over 62,800 hectares of ocean. And these aren't just invisible lines drawn on a map, you know? They are backed by smart management plans, heavy-duty research, and entirely new surveillance tech to actually enforce the rules. Alongside protecting those specific areas, they definitely do not mess around with fishing regulations. To protect the fragile reefs and the long-term health of the fish stock, they've completely banned the highly destructive methods. We're talking absolute bans on shark and whale fishing, zero reef net fishing, and strict prohibitions against using poison, explosives, or harpoons.
Section 4. Science and climate adaptation. But listen, bans alone aren't going to fix a globally shifting climate, right? So the Maldives is taking it a step further, utilizing cutting-edge science and proactive frameworks to actually stay ahead of the curve.
They've rolled out incredibly comprehensive science-based plans like the Billfish Fishery Management Plan. This is all about keeping fisheries productive and resilient. They pull this off through super strict licensing, enforcing size limits so the young fish actually have time to mature, demanding catch certification, and just running rigorous non-stop data collection. Basically, every single catch is heavily managed. And we're seeing a massive paradigm shift happen right now. It's a transition away from the old school approach of just relying on historical catch and migration data and moving toward a highly adaptive, future-focused strategy. They're investing heavily in diversifying their target species, building fishing fleets that can actually handle a changing climate, getting way better at ocean forecasting, and teaming up regionally under the UN Fish Stocks Agreement.
Section 5. Building a Blue Economy. All right, let's move into our final section to look at the human element of this whole story and the grand vision driving all of these ambitious policies forward.
The government knows perfectly well that top-down rules only work if the actual people buy in. That's exactly why they are going all in on community and youth education. By passing down this deep traditional knowledge and the specific pole-in-line techniques to the next generation, they're ensuring cultural continuity. They're fostering this incredible sense of responsible stewardship right inside the traditional fishing communities.
So, bringing everything we've unpacked today together, we can really clearly see how the massive economic stakes of traditional fishing are tied directly to these urgent environmental threats. And crucially, it shows exactly why policy frameworks like those 91 marine protected areas and the science-based management plans are absolutely required to fight back and secure the national economy.
The big takeaway here is that this whole multi-layered strategy feeds directly into the Maldives' really ambitious blue economy vision. It's a comprehensive agenda, and it's entirely designed to guarantee long-term stability for the Maldivian people through sustainable, ecosystem-based management and responsible export growth. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a pretty powerful thought. The Maldives is quite literally on the absolute front lines of our changing environment. So as climate change continues to unpredictably alter our oceans, will this nation's incredible, proactive blueprint for survival ultimately become the mandatory standard for the rest of the world? It's a fascinating question, and definitely one we're all going to need to watch very closely in the coming decades. Thanks for joining me to explore this one today.